They say the truth is stranger than fiction. That definitely applies here. So we've all seen the movies and TV shows dedicated to this topic that sometimes seems far-fetched. I mean, Prison Break, come on. When they ended up in the jail that was run by the inmates, I just gave up on the show at that point. But surprisingly, most of what you've seen in entertainment was most likely less bizarre and more probable than the actual methods that these convicts used to escape. So get ready to hear about some escapes that would make Houdini jealous, because here are the 10 craziest prison escapes of all time. Number 1 is the dental floss escape. Vincenzo Curzio was a convicted murderer and a member of the Sicilian mafia that was about to face prosecution. On March 17, 2003, he escaped from his cell in Turin, Italy by sawing through the bars using only a piece of dental floss. Being built in 1970, the prison was designed to handle outside attacks rather than escapes, so just with dental floss and some patience, he was able to slowly cut through the metal. After escaping his cell, Curzio went old school by tying some bed sheets together and climbed down a window down to freedom. It's like Rapunzel, just a lot more evil. Number 2 is the Master Crafter's escape. On January 3rd, 1995, 3 inmates escaped from Britain's Parker's prison using tools that they built within the institution's walls. In the prison sheet metal shop, the trio managed to not only build the ladder long enough to scale the fences, but also managed to fashion a working gun and a master key. The master key itself, however, was the most impressive, as reports claim that the inmates crafted it from memory after seeing the officer's key. After hiding it in the prison gym until nobody was around, they simply walked out the back door, cut a hole in the inner fence, and then scaled the outer wall with the ladder. The plan was foolproof, except that upon escaping they discovered that they were on an island and had nowhere to go. A for effort though, guys. You're screwed, but A for effort. Number 3 is Mother Trucker's escape. On April 11th of 1998, Jay Sigler, in his 8-year of the 20-year sentence he was serving at the Everglades Correctional Institution in Florida, was in the courtyard waiting for visitors to arrive, and arrive they did. They arrived in the form of a Mack truck, smashing through 4 prison fences before its occupant then opened fire with shotguns against the facility security teams. Another car followed closely behind the truck, driven by his own mother, Sandra. Well, this just gets weirder. After jumping in his mom's car and switching cars twice to throw off his pursuers, the entire crew got away for a bit. That is until they were recognized from the news, which resulted in a car chase and a subsequent car crash, after which they were all arrested. Oh, and not long after, Sandra Sigler testified against her son to reduce her sentence. That is a confused mother. Mother of the Year award. No. Number 4 is the Great Escape. Stalaglov III was a German prisoner of war camp that held enemy Air Force servicemen during World War II and was deemed inescapable. That was until British inmate Roger Bushwell hatched an escape plan with over 600 other prisoners. This one was elaborate. After digging 3 separate tunnels, each 9 meters deep to avoid setting off the seismograph microphones along defenses, they finally launched the plan, and on March 24, 1944, the Great Escape began. Out of 200 men, only 76 actually made it, and all but 3 were recaptured. In fact, Roger Bushwell and 49 other escapees were then executed on orders from Adolf Hitler himself. Sayonata buttholes. Oh, you see that? Hitler learned some Japanese. Number 5 is the helicopter escape. Just after barely starting his 30-year sentence, convict Pascal Payette made a daring plan to escape from Lugnet prison in France. On October 12, 2001, Upgrade hijacked helicopter and landed in the prison courtyard, where Payette simply hopped on influence and flew away. Unbelievably, he got away. Unfortunately, he tested his luck by actually returning just 2 years later to break out 3 other inmates, and all of them were recaptured. However, if that wasn't crazy enough for you, in an unbelievable twist, in 2007, masked men hijacked yet another helicopter, and once again it was Payette was broken out of prison, and of course he was once again recaptured just shortly after, this time locked away in a secret location with no contact to the outside world. Some people just don't learn their lesson. You got away, brah. Shoulda just flew like a bird. Number 6 is the Texan 7 Escape. On December 13th, 2007 prisoners escaped from the John B. Connolly Unit, a maximum security prison in Texas. They managed to overpower in restraint 16 people, including officers, civilian maintenance workers, and inmates not even on their plan. Dressed as civilians, 3 of the prisoners subdued unsuspecting guards, while the remaining 4 made phone calls to the guard towers to distract them from watching the gates, stealing away prison van, and easily opening the rear gate. The Texan 7 made their daring escape, but as we've learned, people like to test the lock, and just 2 weeks after, the 7 men robbed a sporting goods store, killing a police officer, which got the national attention on America's Most Wanted, after which they were quickly apprehended in an RV in a park in Colorado, not aggravating crime or anything like that. But if you actually did a crime, got in jail, and then escaped, you would be lucky to live the rest of your life with the way shaving your legs, just pretending to be, I would be Tad Mathild, and keep your mouth shut, don't rob anything, it's stupid. Number 7 is the Italian Escape. Antonio Ferreira, an Italian-born explosives expert and bank robber, was serving an 8-year sentence. Uniforms pulled up in 3 pink cruisers and opened fire on the prison gates with AK-47s and rocket-powered grenade launchers. Like real-life GoldenEye 007, Ferreira used a stick of dynamite a guard had slipped him to blow up to the chaos outside. Ferreira escaped in the police cars, using fires that the attackers had previously set as distractions for emergency responders. Incredible scene any Jack Bauer fan would have been proud of. Except that just 4 months later, an undercover sting brought down every member of the attack. See, nobody's got an after game plan. They have a game plan, and it's like, I'm free. Now I'm caught again. I'm employed again. I'm going number 8. Death Camp Escape. On October 14, 1943, a group of prisoners killed 11 German officers inside a Nazi prisoner camp under the cover of night. Restraining the inner guards and emptying the camp's armory, the group planned to take all of the officers over in a scheme with all 600 prisoners. Talk about a lofty goal. Unfortunately, the remaining German officers found the bodies of the fallen Nazis and opened fire. You lose prisoners who had to make a run for the woods. Nearly 300 people did escape, the rest being claimed by gunfire or the minefield. This was a valiant effort, and it would be more upsetting to know that those people died, but you all know how World War II ended, so the good guys won. Number 9 is Frank Abagnale, prison inspector, sentenced to 12 years for multiple forgeries. Frank Abagnale Jr. was being transferred from the Federal Detention Center in Atlanta, Georgia doorway trial when he became aware that the S-Marshal escorting him had actually forgotten the detention commitment papers. Knowing that this was highly irregular, the con man and used the slip-up to convince the guard that he was an undercover inspector investigating the facility for the FBI. Unbelievably, the guards actually let Frank walk out the front door to meet with an Asian, aka his criminal friend, with whom he sped off into the night. Hang on, is this one really an escape if they let you go? That's a philosophical question. And number 10 is Alcatraz. On June 11th, 1962, 3 prisoners, Clarence Anglin, John Anglin, and Frank Anglin, escape the world's most famous and escapable prison. After using dummies of themselves to convince the guards they were still in their beds, they crawled out of tunnels in their cells that they had been digging for a year with only spoons. After sneaking up an unused service corridor, they climbed up a ventilation shaft to the roof and then scaled the fence to reach the island's edge. Finally, they chartered across the icy Pacific waters to freedom using a rap. However, no evidence of them either successfully reaching the shore or drowning exists, making it a hot topic of debate for decades. And those were the 10 most insane prison escapees of all time. As always, I really appreciate you guys. Be sure to watch my vlogs, subscribe to my channel.